with Jess Heisel and the
Chasing Liberty with Jake.
Amen. This will be the last week that I'm going live on the Jess Heisel for Governor stuff. Switching over to a whole new platform. It was great. It was a huge learning experience. Met some amazing people, but now it's time to make the change. So I'll come out with more information with that. I'll post on the governor page. And yeah. Oh, maybe Jake's already having a drink over there. Or?
Oh, yeah. I had to wet my whistle before my intro here. So thank you for joining us all here tonight. This is Chasing Liberty with Jake, joined up with Looking Forward with Jess Heisel. I am the chairman of the Libertarian Party of the state of Wisconsin and our 8th congressional district candidate here in 2022. And this has been a bit of a learning curve getting this ironed out here, but we're finally finding the footing here and getting ready to really push out some solid content for y'all. So definitely excited for that and good stuff to come in the very near future. So stay tuned.
So you are pretty well deep into signatures, are you not?
It's been something. We hit hard last Saturday. I had an amazing crew of about 8 people. We went door to door down in Green Bay. Got my head sunburnt for the first time since I've shaved my head, and it is sensitive, very sensitive. I have blisters on my feet, but it's been a rough go. There's been a lot of people that are just done with politics, to be honest. I heard that more often. If I had a signature for every time I heard I was done with politics, I'd have my 1,000 signatures already. It's been tough, and I don't blame people for being done with politics. I really don't, and it's. I hope we can pull it back because we still need participation in order to get things changed. We really do. But the change isn't going to come.
Angry.
But they're very angry. I mean, look at the cost of fuel, look at the cost of gas, and the cost of food. Okay, and this is not going down. Come fall time, we're going to have food shortages. We got a fertilizer shortage going on right now, and that is going to really drive up the cost of food along with the cost of fuel. It's going to be incredible. So saddle up. I understand.
Yeah,
but doing nothing
things have been
please participate.
Things have been looking up with Joe Biden. Inflation's up. Gas is up. So things are looking up.
All right, we got a visitor around here. Hello to the Mohican Libertarian. How you doing tonight, bud?
So the when you're all getting signatures, so you're in District 8. So if anybody's in District 8, they can. How do they help you get signatures if somebody can do that?
Email me directly at www.jakeliberty2022.com. It's and I will be able to email you a sheet. You can come join us when we're all going door to door. We've actually had relatively success in the bars, except usually feel obligated to patronize the bar if I'm in there getting signatures. So after about 6 bars, it gets a little difficult to keep going signatures, but it only happens from time to time.
What was I here for again?
What am I doing? Oh, signatures. And I think I am actually allergic to alcohol because every time I drink, I just break out in handcuffs. It's not a good situation.
Nice. So let's we got a couple topics. We were going to go over the new disinformation board.
Oh, yeah.
Play with that. Yeah, I know. Play on some of the leaked documents from Roe v. Wade. And if we get time, let's hit up a little bit of I think it was, I don't want to do that time. Let's do unions. We'll try that one last. Yes. Yeah, because I don't know. They all kind of go together. This has been kind of morphs together. So let's do this governance one, right? So Joe Biden created the Disinformation Governance Board, which I think is kind of interesting. Okay. I think after COVID and everything else, this is a huge, what the heck is going on? So we've had, COVID, the Hunter Biden laptops, the election, there's no trust out there, right? So they create this. I find this interesting because it works so well for Vietnam and Iraq invasion. Right? So we're going to do that again. One of the things I noticed was I started looking into what's already out there has been happening for the last couple of years. So Jeff Bezos, he owns the Washington Post. Michael Bloomberg, he's got his own Bloomberg News. And of course, when he ran for president, a lot of people came out with some of the information that he was saying. And let's face it, with some of the PayPal accounts that are getting cut off and everything like that, how is this disinformation governance board really going to help people? Wouldn't that go against people's civil liberties and people's freedom of speech?
I really find it ironic that the biggest perpetrator of disinformation, our government, has created the Disinformation Governance Board. I mean, they're more guilty than anybody for spreading disinformation. Entirely. Whether it's from COVID-19, whether it's the truck drivers, whether it's January 6th, and all of this, the Russia Gate, all of everything, all of this stems from disinformation directly from the government. This is only another way for them to control the information, period. If they can select and control the flow of information, they can control the masses. Absolutely a bad idea. And here's one that when you talk, so right now this is being set up by Democrats. Ask any Democrat if they like this right now. And then ask them if they would like it if Donald Trump is running it. If they say no, this is a terrible decision, well, it's probably a terrible decision to begin with, and you probably shouldn't be doing it. That's the downside to having this two-party system is if it sounds good now, that doesn't mean that the other side's not going to use it against you in the future, just like they used the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was supposed to crack down terrorists. Now it's being used to badger parents that are speaking up at school boards. Unacceptable.
I did see an interview where somebody asked, I wish I would remember the person's name, gentlemen, they said, hey, what if Donald Trump was in charge of this? Like, let's say he wins the next election. Are you going to support the disinformation board? And they did not answer the question. And they ended up just speaking about civil liberties and people's freedom to speak. Did not answer the question.
Weird.
And right. So this organization is under the Homeland Security as well. So one of the questions that they asked the person is, hey, will you be tracking people? Will you be listening in people's conversations? And they said no. Well, how are you going to do disinformation?
How are you going to do your job? That doesn't even make any sense.
Right. Yes. Yep.
Gaslighting. Gaslighting at its finest.
So I do want to apologize to the viewers. So there's a lady named Nina Jankowicz. She's going to be the person that's going to be running this show. I don't know if it's director or what her actually title was. So I have a video that she made in it, and I'm really sorry. I had to watch it, and I just wanted to show it to people, and I feel really bad for doing this. But really quick, while I'm doing that, Jake, if Elon Musk owns Twitter and they come out with a disinformation board, how will they potentially, because he's more freedom of speech, how are they going to curb somebody like him?
I don't think they'll be able to.
I didn't think so either. I honestly didn't think so.
I don't see that happening.
No. Okay, so I do want to apologize. It's like a 30-second video, but this is for Nina Jankowicz of what her video that she made about disinformation here. Oh, wait, let me do the video here. Oh, I got to turn the sound up. So much is happening.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh!
You miss it, don't you? The news.
Okay.
Well, there's 30 seconds of my life I'll never get back.
Has it become a theater?
Yeah, actually, I believe it is all theater at this point. All the battle that you see in Washington, D.C., it's all staged. That's one of the big things that Justin Amash actually talks about. He goes, on camera, Republicans and Democrats are fighting back and forth. As soon as the cameras are off, they're good friends. They're going to the same parties. Yeah. It's all theater. Whole thing.
Yeah. It absolutely is. Because I just don't see how, no offense to her, maybe she's amazing and I just don't know, but everything that I've heard so far, I don't see how she's the person. This has become a
She'd be great on
stage.
Broadway. She would be great on Broadway. Great singer.
Surprisingly, she's got a lot
Information board.
right.
You know, she's got a skill. She's got to stick with what you're good at.
Yes. Yeah. Mohican Libertarian. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Yep.
Yeah.
I saw it, and she's got a lot of other videos out there, and she actually does have she has some other ones out there, but she's got a pretty good voice. But that was just weird. And this is the video that she comes out with. I don't know if it's I think the views that she has is more for laughing and joking, but
it's almost as painful as a sunburnt head.
Right. Without the blisters.
We didn't quite get that bad. It is definitely tender though. Oof.
Yeah. I got the sun this weekend too, and of course I was hunched over, so I got a few lines across the stomach.
Excellent.
I just took away that I think I need to go to the gym a little bit more, rather try to straighten those up.
Who is this gym guy I keep hearing about that I'm supposed to go to?
He's
supposed
amazing.
to fix something? Is he amazing?
He's amazing. Yeah, and I go to him enough. I go to him, but not enough. Here's something that's a little controversial too. Okay. Yep. Of course, you remember the whole leaked document, because this is new. So if you haven't heard of this, 1973 Roe v. Wade came out, legalized abortion. All right. Of course, there was just an anti-abortion clinic that was just graffitied in Madison this weekend. I think they tried to do the Molotov cocktails on it and graffitied the wall, and vandalism. Yeah. So this is a difficult conversation. What's that?
Vandalism always fixes everything.
Right. So this is a difficult conversation, but one thing that I'm glad that happened here is it's going to bring it to the forefront, because they're pro-choice and pro-life, and I personally am tired of politicians just using it as a campaign topic. Yeah.
Perfect. And that's what Republicans and Democrats use the abortion topic to fundraise. And they have fundraised billions and billions of dollars off of the American people without any intention of actually doing anything. They don't have any intention. Okay. How many times have we seen the Democrats have the trifecta of the House, the Senate, and the presidency and have done nothing? Currently they do. And the same thing with the Republicans. Okay. They had in 2016 with Donald Trump, the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They don't want to do anything. And the government thinking that they can actually do something to resolve this is no different than they're just not the proper apparatus. They're not going to do anything other than create a black market. Okay. There are some things that we have done as a species throughout the course of time that we've decided to always try to legislate against. So things like alcohol, we tried to legislate against that, failed. Drugs, we used to have opium back in the day. We tried to legislate against drugs, failed. Prostitution, legislate against that, failed. All of these things, the human abortion, they're going to try to legislate against that. That's also going to fail. These are things that we as a species have done for as long as the species has survived. Okay. Trying every single time we have legislated against these natural laws, the only thing it has done was create a black market. It's not a resolve. So any legislation that we have coming through here is going to sincerely just create a black market. That's not actually solving anything with the current proposed legislation that's going to be pushed. Okay, if we want to have a serious conversation about abortion, we're here for it. But we should be looking towards trying to do something on the front end of why there are having abortions. Let's try to solve it there instead of simply creating a black market. The government is inadequate with solving anything like this. And Republicans trying to solve abortions through legislation is no different than Democrats trying to stop gun violence through gun legislation. Again, simply inadequate. It's not going to work. The government is not good at solving these problems, but we can within our communities.
Let me ask you a question. So we look at this election, we can see that the Republicans are just going to run the field, right? Democrats are just going to get hammered. So when
Get ugly.
so when something like this comes out, then are the Democrats trying to get something? Are they trying to get more votes? Is that something that they're trying to push? I would almost advocate for a yes, maybe.
Maybe your question. I was reading the comment here in a section. I miss Sarah Jane.
I'll make it bigger for you, just in case your eyes.
Yeah, my old man eyes are not working like they used to.
Right. Yeah. So when they come out with this, you have to question, how much is this actually going to go through? Will it go through? So this Wednesday, there's another vote on the floor that they're going to have all the Democrats to vote for it, and they're going to have to also grab 10 Republicans to do it. It's not in the cards. There is not going to be enough votes for it. So let's say
that's how they continue to fundraise on it. We need this many so we can. Oh, if I had hair left, I'd pull it out.
You do. It's just on the front. It's easier to grab now.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things, let me scroll down here and see if I can bring this up. And this has been a recent poll, and it was put up on like NBC here. Let me get this over here. Let's share this. Bring this up. So this is where we're at roughly for, hopefully people can see this. All adults, should Roe v. Wade be overturned? 29% of the adults said yes, 66% no. Now, if you just look at the Republicans, 50% say yes and 47% say no. They're pretty split. But now look over way on the right on the Democrat side. 12% say yes, it should be overturned, but 86% overwhelmingly say no. And then independents obviously also lean towards that no. With this much of majority with Democrats and independents, should it be federal? These are questions.
And there's another thing that you can tap into that too is the time. So what I also have read is within the first trimester, this is about where the numbers are at. But when you roll into the second trimester and third trimester, those numbers go way down. There's very, very, very little support for anything past the second trimester.
Now, I was just looking over here. It was hard to find. Oh, geez. I couldn't find good, solid answers on that. But yes, you're looking at 6 weeks. You're looking at 15 weeks. You're looking at heartbeat. You're looking at up until conception. These were all different surveys that were sent out there. And there was no good data behind that, that for polls. But the reality is people, the majority of people think it should be legalized. That's really what the numbers show us. So when you have something like that, and it's at the federal, I still am hesitant to think that it's going to be overturned. I really do.
We're going to find out. And even it comes down to the fundraising. And I see in the chats here, as most people don't support anything past the first. Yeah, you're right. Very, very few people do support anything past the first trimester. And the fear is, and I hear a lot from the fear on the right or on the left, I should say, that if they compromise and do put some kind of restrictions in, that the right's going to take the next farther step and limit more. This whole right versus left battle has got to stop. Truly, it's annoying. It's frankly annoying.
Absolutely, it is. And I have a map here. Wrote it down. Oh no, you got to give me a second to bring up the map. See, there's too much going on, and when you run everything on this end, it makes it fun. Legal versus legal. 80% roughly think it should be legal. 20% roughly should be illegal. Pro-life, pro-choice among, of course, you get your Republicans it's about 50-50. And that's what I showed earlier. But then again, look at how many Republicans are out there. You're looking at about 25% of the population, right? They're jumping ships. 25. I have been looking at it as 25 Republican, 25 Democrat, and about 50% independent. That's about what it's been. Oh, it was Pew Research. So much going on. Can you share those chats, Jake?
Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff going on. We've got Miss Sarah Jane here. It's nice to hear two people in the
politics actually looking at and discussing what the people are wanting and elevating that data. Mr. Kevin Nutt here says conservatives need to decide what they dislike more, the political funds and abuses there are or their procedure.
Oh,
We got all sorts of good feedback here tonight. This is awesome. Thank you all for joining us.
So if you look at the left side there and where Americans support or oppose legal abortion and support legal abortion, you look at your lighter bluish, I guess I'll call it. That's Wisconsin. Although, if I'm not mistaken, hypothetically, if this does go through and it gets overturned, I want to say Wisconsin is one of it's either 18 or 21 states that still has laws in effect. I want to say
but they had, but I think they needed to pass some form of like a bounce back legislation, and I don't think that they did. So I don't think it goes fully back. And there's something that have to get passed through the legislature in order for it to actually go back into effect.
Okay, so there's still
a lot of these other, there's a lot of these other states I believe had bounce back legislation that if at any point in time Roe versus Wade was overturned, they would automatically have legislation that would roll right back into place. And I don't believe Wisconsin has that.
That's what the one on the right shows. But I wanted to pick your brain because I had heard that and I was like, I don't know if it's true. But I figured if Jake says it, it's got to be true.
I've been listening for myself. I'm not a perfect angel.
Scott Berman says 26 states, including Wisconsin.
Okay.
So, yeah. Perfect. And then it would become a felony. So, to be honest, I don't think they're going to be playing on this on the Supreme Court side probably till July, I think it was in the report. But we'll see.
So, yeah.
Let's face it. By then, they're going to be trading votes. So much is going to be out there. They're going to be scared when the population hears about it. Yeah. Yeah. Fun times. Okay, wait. I could share my screen. People will see what I'm reading. That's cheating. Right. So the ones that I looked up were 6 weeks, 15 weeks, heartbeat until conception. Of course, most of them had in case of rape, incest, and life of the mother. There were a few states, that did not include that. So,
and I do know that the numbers for the rape and the incest are pretty low, and we can solve that by making sure that there are stiff penalties for rape and incest. Like, you just don't get out of prison. I am completely fine with a 30 to 40-year sentence for rape. Okay, let's let the people out of prison that are in there for in possession of a plant for the rapists and the pedophiles, and just kind of keep them in there. That way, we don't have to worry about repeat offenders.
General custody? Or generally, put them in general population. Yeah. I love this from Laura. I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you.
That's the thing. Every time I hear Joe Biden saying we're gonna bring the country together, or we need unity, or even Republicans and Democrats cannot unite the country.
No.
Okay, we're too polarized. That ship sailed a long time ago. There's no crossing aisles.
Why?
Absolutely. Why? Power. They need the power. They need the control. It's all about power and control. So I am not fond of party politics, okay? Because party politics right now, especially in the two-party system, you first have to gain power in order to do anything. So in order to gain power, that's what the achieving is. I sat in with a constitutional group here in Northeast Wisconsin, and we sat for an hour and a half. And these were disenfranchised Republicans. We're talking about how are we going to get power? How are we going to gain the power? And how are we going to maintain the power? The amount of time that we sat there talking about power, we literally could have wrote a piece of legislation to present to the county board, came up with a plan to gain community support, and actually made it happen. You don't have to give these political parties your power. You are the power. We, the people, have the power. Stop giving it to political parties. Self-governance is the way of this country.
Yeah.
Sorry.
3 words that I learned out on the campaign trail. Follow the money. If you
Nailed
look
it.
if you look at some of the campaign contributions versus what is given back in corporate welfare and what laws are passed, it's not difficult to figure it out. This is not difficult to do. The problem is the way they hide the money in the process. Your 501cs and some of your other organizations that they can just donate to. The gentleman, right after this abortion one came out, gentleman went down to Texas to try to help lobby. I'll look up his name here. When you get on the next rave, that's my Google. He went down to try to help out and campaign for this person who was obviously pro-life, or I'm sorry, pro-choice, was Democrat. But when he got there, they realized, oh, wait, this guy is under corruption charges, a Democrat, one of Nancy Pelosi's friends, under corruption charges for campaign finance reform. This is who they're sending out. It's like, come on, what's going on? Whatever. You have people that are under investigation from FBI for campaign corruption, and they're out campaigning. Sure, whatever. If that's how it was.
I can only. How much? I'm curious. How much do we spend as a country investigating corrupt politicians?
That's a very good question.
Because that's still our tax dollars.
If you look at the money that was put into the election oversight, we're paying $600 and some thousand for Gableman, and now their other side's about $150,000 into lawyer fees. So that's all taxpayer dollars, and that was probably yeah.
I was thinking, how much did that Russiagate cost? That was a couple $1 million, wasn't it? When they investigated Russia collusion.
Don't worry about it, because they gave out fines to the DNC and to Hillary Clinton for that.
That was like $8,000 for Hillary Clinton or something. I feel like, talk about an insult.
Yeah, Hillary. Yeah,
and a fine at $8,000. The fine with the cost to investigate, spread it across all three. Don't care how you divvy it up, but Mike, that's our money. Okay, we work hard at that. We work hard at that.
The DNC was a little over $100,000. I think it was 103, 105. Yeah,
not enough. Not enough.
Follow the money. Oh, I didn't even get to put up my banner when I did it.
Oh, it's okay. We're still new. We're getting all the good stuff ironed out yet.
Oh yes, there's so much going on with this. So, God, I don't know if I want to title the next one. Let's call it this. How about we do this one? We'll call it this one. I want to go after this. Unions.
Yay!
Who's really winning this? So, here's something. Starbucks is a big thing that's coming in now with unionization, right? So they're starting to unionize. There's one in Milwaukee. I think, is it Apple? I got it written down. Milwaukee and Stevens Point are unionized. Madison and Appleton have filed, but they're not unionized. So what did Starbucks do to try to fight off the union? What they did is they went through all their Starbucks stores and started giving benefits to stores that are not unionizing. So the ones that were unionizing didn't do anything. Right. Somebody's going to get busted for this hardcore. What they did is they improved sick leave. They also invested into credit card tipping, and they increased training. Okay, so that affected about 250,000 employees for Starbucks, and they didn't offer it to any of the other locations. Tell me that once these unions get a hold of that, they're not going to tear Starbucks out.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Oh, it is. Really? Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong. Unions serve their place. I was a part of a union. I wasn't happy with the union, but I understood what they did and what they stood for. And to be honest, what unions stood for 50 is not what they are now. Okay. And I've seen the bad side of the unions, and I've also seen the good side of the unions. So you actually have two facets of it. Not a lot of people see that. And this isn't in regards to the public sector unions. This is in regards to the private sector unions. Okay. So when I worked within the electrical union, you had a bargaining union and then you had a workers union. So I was part of the bargaining union, and it was at one place, one establishment, and that union, which was part of the same union hall, actually advocated on behalf of the benefits on that property. Okay. Now, come a massive workload, we would call up the union hall and we'd say, hey, we need 25 electricians for 3 months. And they would send us 25 electricians. They knew the start date, they knew their end date. And these guys were highly skilled, highly trained. They came in and they knew their stuff. They really did.
That
And
sounds
when the job
efficient.
was done, they left.
Yeah.
So the downside is that working union portion of it is actually a really good setup. These guys go from job to job to job, wherever they need highly skilled, highly trained individuals, and it's a good setup. They offer an apprenticeship program, the whole shebang. The right to work really doesn't affect them. Those union dues go directly towards admin efficiency in order to actually set their next jobs up. That goes towards making sure that their insurance gets covered and they have insurance packages. It works really, really well. Where the unions get the bad name is in with the bargaining unions that are at the places and the workers never leave. They are just part of the employment. Then they get used almost like a battering ram. And I've personally seen it where the union has defended bad employees. And that's not how that should go. The working union section of it, if we called up and we had the 25 unions showed up and worked and one of them was bad, we would call the union hall up and they would replace them. Done. Okay. So there's facets of this that work really, really well and are really, really good. And then there's facets of it that are actually not so good and should definitely change.
So my mother was involved in one where she would work 32 hours, 36 hours, and anything over 32, you were supposed to start getting benefits. Well, they didn't start offering those benefits to those people even after a certain amount of time because you have to work that within like 90 days. Some unions are good, but some are crap. And those ones that are crap, they just keep taking your benefits and your money. And I'm sorry for the teachers that are out there because I think if you had a good teachers union, Act 10 probably wouldn't have happened. Call it a hunch.
And in reality, as a business owner, if your employees are unionizing, that means you failed as a leader.
That's an amazing segue to the next one.
I know.
Man, it's like we're right there, buddy. We're right there.
It's
Amazon.
It's the whiskey.
What's the picture for that whiskey?
That would be the libertarian emblem. That's our animal, porcupine. Not sure who picked that out. Who made the whiskey? I can't indulge my sources.
Oh, that's right. That would not be good. Good call. There was somebody that may have put a libertarian picture on it. And if it's in the chats, we will not display it and we will delete it. Amazon. So in 2020, their net income was $21.3 billion. Okay. In 2021, their net income was $33.4 billion. $33.4 billion to $21.3 billion. They made $12.1 billion increase between 2020 and 2021. And we know that 2020, they had a big markup because everybody was ordering stuff on Amazon, right? Okay. But they're claiming inflation. And if you've been reading into the tickers, they're wanted to unionize inside of Amazon facilities. So Amazon started this big union busting where they had all these signs, and you can go onto Google and you got to see some of these signs. I probably should bring them up. Totally going after unionizing and saying, hey, if you unionize, you can't get raises through your supervisor anymore. You have to go through your union. Hey, you have to do this. You have to do this. They really went after those unions because obviously they didn't want it. They made $12.1 billion. And if they would have given that to the people, their workers, and taking care of their own, the workers would not be pissed. If they were given bathroom breaks, they would not be pissed. This was the problem that Amazon had. And do you know what they did with inflation? Just this year, they raised Amazon Prime by $2 a month or by $20 a year. So not only did they make $12.1 billion and screw their employees over in the process, but they also raised the rates for people. This is Amazon.
There's a story about Amazon. Do you ever hear the story about Amazon and diapers.com?
Ooh, no, go ahead. I don't know this.
All right. So there was a company called diapers.com. And don't quote me on the exact figures. Diapers.com essentially was a website that would buy diapers en masse and then would mail them to you at a discount. Because when you buy at a wholesale price, buy the truckload, you can get a discount. And then you can mail them out to people at a relatively discount. You're cutting out the store, you're cutting out the middleman.
Yep.
And it was great. So when your company gets that large, you start operating off of this thing called market share. So Amazon wanted that market share, started up their own version of diapers.com, and purposely operated at a loss. They purposely operated at a loss and lost billions and billions to undercut diapers.com just so they would go out of business and take over that market share. If you're an organization that can operate at a loss and purposefully lose billions just to take a company over, that's scary. That's not a free market. That's not how the market was designed.
Jake, that's the healthcare industry. That defines it perfectly. They will, if they can't buy out their competition, they'll undercut the crap out of them, just get rid of them. Yeah. A lot of big businesses do that. That's exactly what happens. Yeah, very normal. Hey,
I see a couple comments up here. It says Amazon has done that with numerous businesses. Yeah, not shocked.
Absolutely.
This is every single big box chain, though. And you're right. And this is why I preach regularly about buy local. Okay, everyone puts a whole lot of focus on the ballot box and trying to drive our country through a vote. When every day you get to vote with your dollar. Okay, stop giving your money to these companies. If you don't like Amazon, stop using Amazon. Stop using their website. Stop giving them your money. Real easy.
Yeah.
Buy local. It's more important to buy your food local too. Don't get me going on that hinge.
I do want to say that it's not the easiest. Amazon does have a pretty smooth system. I will give them that. But I tried going through like Walmart and other things. It takes a little bit longer. You betcha. But I was happier about it. To be honest, I made my 14-year-old do most of it. But yeah, it does take longer. Amazon did very good in their marketing and be able to target people and their whole algorithm behind stuff. So I will give them that.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. Hey, I got two more. Hershey, multiple price increases due to inflation. Hershey, you want chocolate? You love chocolate. Everybody loves chocolate, right? Okay, their net profit was up 62% from 2019 to 2021. Okay, what did they do with that extra profit? And what did they do with all those price inflations? They rewarded their shareholders with dividends and stock buybacks. They raised prices to only give it back to themselves. I know, weird how that works, huh? I know. We all know it. We all know it's happening. Last week I said Dollar General. It was a Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree did the same thing. They raised their inflation rates just to give it back to. They had $1 billion stock buyback. I think it was. It happens.
Thanks.
Some of these companies are actually raising their rates to use inflation as an excuse, but yet they're still making billions and billions of dollars. Yep. Last one. Chevron made Chevron, of course, Chevron oil, right? They didn't make any profit, or did they? 240% profit, 240. And they gave a dividend increase. A dividend increase, which means that every quarter they pay their shareholders a certain amount of money. So if you buy into those stocks that have dividends, you get money every quarter for that. Some of them do quarter, some do annual, whatever. But they gave it back, that 240% increase in dividends. But they also kept their production low just so they can maintain the high prices. So they got more money. Same thing. I like this comment. I love it. That's awesome comment.
That was good. That was good.
Yep.
We should start an award for best comment of the night. Yeah.
That's genius. That is genius.
That is a go on a to-do list item.
All right. Best comment award.
Best comment award. We could do an annual review of the best comments too. That'd be fun.
Oh, that's going to be horrible. High profit. The companies that did that: Nike, Dr. Pepper, Steel Dynamics, because we know that steel, copper, aluminum, everything just skyrocketed during this thing. Guess who made a lot of money during that? Those metal companies. Fertilizer. Of course, we know, with Ukraine having a lot of their fertilizer, they just jacked their rates up from that. Those companies profited amazing. Oil, lumber, rubber. Those are some of the big ones. Some of them ones that have actually propagated some of that price down, so they decreased. Gas, well, not gas, because gas has obviously increased, but food and like baby food is another big one right now. There's a big shortage on baby food. I don't have any babies, so I don't really pay attention to it anymore, but yeah.
I don't think I can go back to diapers.
I may go back to diapers, but it's going to be a few years before I go back to those things. So that was
too much fun.
I know. Oh, why don't we end it with some breaking news, huh?
Oh, best part.
You like this one, don't you? These are your faves. Oh, I already said the breaking news: baby shortage for. So there's a whistleblower out of Abbott Nutrition. This was out of Michigan. They were hiding safety concerns, but in order to be shut down, instead of this whistleblower had to write it to the FDA. The FDA had to come back and shut him down, even though that this employee let it be known in his factory that there were safety and health concerns. They had to write to the FDA and shut the company down. And right now, all over around social media, especially when we get into big cities where demand is obviously a little bit harder, it's harder for people to get baby formula. So people are crying on social media and having it sent to them. Really? You gotta watch out, because then you get the trolls on Best Buy that try to sell it for way more than it's worth to. I hate those people. Okay, so that's not a fun. Let's do a fun. Well, not a fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so breaking news. Wait, where's my? Hold on for 1 second. Boom. Cool. Water is so low in Lake Mead, okay, way down south, down by Vegas, that the intake valve is now exposed. Now, it was an old intake valve that used to feed Vegas back in the day. And this has been like 20 years of depletion. But Lake Mead is one of the largest reservoirs for the Colorado River. Okay. Here's something that's been interesting coming out of that. It's 30 miles from Vegas. They found a dead body in a barrel. And now they just found another one.
Oh.
Just this last week. So
they're gonna find all sorts of good stuff when that drains down. I promise.
When you're 30 miles from Vegas, I don't know about it. I don't want to be any part of what's at the bottom of that lake.
That's gonna be scary. I can only imagine the shenanigans. And can only imagine what's down there. The guns.
Comment section. What's the best thing that's going to be found in Lake Mead?
Hoffa.
amazing. Here's something. The body that was found in the barrel was a male, and it was from the 1970s. So could have been Hoffa. When did Hoffa disappear?
Hoffa disappeared. Looked
Oh.
that up. That was in the 70s, wasn't it? That was
We
the
gotta-
unions. We already passed the union topic.
We should have talked about that. Jenna and Kevin got a $5 bet on the side, by the way, for if it was Hoffa in the barrel.
I get DB Cooper.
Like that one, too.
Oh, this
Which was
is
Loki.
way too much fun.
Which was Loki. All right, breaking news. We'll let those comments roll. Breaking news: price of diesel hits an all-time high, and you should probably know this because as you deliver
yeah.
LP, right?
I delivered
Yeah,
LP. We topped off the truck today. It was $4.99 a gallon.
Yeah.
Oof.
National average is above 5. That's for sure. It just crossed over 5. The stockpiles are the lowest level of diesel fuel since 1996. Trading is at well above $200 a barrel for diesel. So that's climbing. That is climbing.
And see, that's the thing is this fuel affects so much. Mike Tyson's Tiger. Oh, this comment section is on fire tonight. This is awesome.
I like the Mike Tyson's Tiger. It's
the cost of fuel affects everything. All right. I mean, so take your food. Drivers at the cost of food. Okay. So now this cost. So think about this. The farmer has to order the seed. The seed has to get delivered. Okay. That takes fuel. Then it has to be planted. The field has to be cultivated. That takes fuel. It has to be maintained. That takes fuel. Once it's harvested, it needs to be picked. It needs to be transported to the wholesaler. That takes fuel. Once it gets to the wholesaler, it needs to be transported to the retailer. That takes fuel. That just drives up the cost of our food by a magnitude a lot of people don't see. And that is huge. So when I always preach about buying, not only does this protect you from future government shutdowns because it helps your local farmers grow, get established to the point that they can actually service your entire community, you are also cutting out those fuel costs. Okay. So the tomato that you buy in the store is a certain price, but if you can buy it locally at your farmer from a farmer's market, they only had to transport it once. So there was only that fuel charge out from the seed or from the tomato getting to the farmer's market. The extra transportation that we have with our current food production system is immaculate. It is huge. Buy local food as much as you can for your own protection and to help keep down the cost of inflation. It is imperative that we buy from local farmers, not just because I'm a local farmer, but we as a country have to get back. Grow your own garden. Everybody should be growing a little bit in their backyards. Truly. Throw some tomato plants and some zucchinis out there, some barrel potatoes, and everyone should be growing their own food. We are 2 generations up. Both my grandpas had a garden in their backyard. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to, okay, to take off the cost of food. Everyone should be growing a little bit. That is a lost trade, how to grow your own food and survive. Right now, if our entire food production system shuts down, a majority of the country is simply screwed. They got no idea how to grow a potato. We're in some trouble if that happens.
And potatoes are pretty easy.
Exactly. It's pretty hard to wad up. It's really, really hard to screw up a potato. Trust me.
It's like messing up a rum and Coke. What's in it? If you when I was talking about the unions earlier and some of that big money that's gaining a lot from some of this inflation, local farmers are not those people.
No.
A lot of the smaller organizations, those are not those people that are making it from inflation. Those are the people that are getting hit from inflation. If you want to buy your own local meat, you can get onto some farmers' Facebook pages in your area. There's lots of them out there. And you can say, hey, I'm looking for a quarter of a cow, half a cow, or a pig. Oh my goodness, the pig meat is amazing. You can order that off of those organizations. So get onto those places, and you can get your meat there. You can get your vegetables there. Everything that you need. You can supplement yourself with some of the bigger box stores, but you can get a lot of your stuff off there for your local. And it's better.
And even the price, even those prices are starting to go up. So the price on a piglet 3 years ago, okay, I used to go and get piglets.
Are you looking at?
Not come from Brown. Looking at the comments here. This,
yeah, right.
My whole life has been a lie. I hate when that happens. All right, so 3 years ago, okay, so put this into perspective. We want to talk about inflation and market demands and stuff like that. 3 years ago, I could pick up a 50-pound piglet for $50, $1 a pound, right? Now, piglets are selling right now at $175 for a 50-pound piglet. Yeah.
Wait, say those numbers again. 100 and
3 years ago, I could buy a 50-pound piglet, $50, $1 a pound.
$1 a pound.
Right now, the going price is $175 for a piglet. Same size, 50 pounds.
Oh yeah, so that's 3. What?
Yep.
I just paid $1.75 over in my area pound hanging weight.
That's not bad. Last year I was sold up here at $1.80 a pound hanging weight. The trick is that we've actually stopped trying to buy the pigs, and we're actually going to get set up for actually breeders and actually start breeding them. The issue is the demand. Okay.
I shouldn't.
You guys are all on this nut here. It's beautiful.
Oh, that last one was pretty messed up. Just realized that. Anyways, carry on with yours. Then we got to move on. We got 2 left.
2 left. All right. Yeah. So it all becomes supply and demand. So we're going to be getting set up for actually breeder pigs, so we can breed a couple of litters each year and still have continuous pork. So you got to do what you got to do, and even farmers are having to adjust fire with their operations, and that takes capital. So when we say support local farmers, you got to support the local farmers, so especially when the government shuts things down again.
It's actually easier to do. It takes a little bit to learn at the beginning, but it's easy to do. All right. Median price. The median price of a new home in the U.S. is now 6.5 times higher than the median household income. Okay, so the median price of a new home is now 6.5 times higher than the median household income. So actually, housing has never been more affordable relative to incomes. Here's what's interesting. A lot of people have taken new jobs during this whole, raise your wages and taken off, right? With that increase, and they call it a parity. So in a lot of jobs, they do a parity increase, means that a lot of people out on the market that do the same damn job that you do will make this much. Well, that's $4 more than you're making right now. So they do a parity increase to move you up that $4. With those increases, and with all the people that are getting new jobs, it has actually changed our threshold of inflation and raised our whole income. So a lot of those people on the lower markets that were already poor, that don't have that, your minimum wage people especially, are devastated with that statistic. Because your homes will never, your home increase is coming up. So your home increase is coming up. That's not expected to really return lower because of that statistic. It's not going to happen. It will come down a little, absolutely, but never to where.
No, and we see here a lot in Door County that housing is a major issue. People can't afford the property here, and a lot of it is seasonal people come up from Chicago, and they spent $2.5 million on a piece of property on the edge of the bay. And that is driving up the rest of the property values around here. There's apartments in town here for rent that are well over what I pay for a mortgage here on a 40-acre farm. And I don't know how the service industry, your waiters and your waitresses and your barkeeps are able to afford that. Over a few years ago.
A few years ago, 100 pounds of potatoes cost the same as 1873.
Huh. Interesting. You're looking it up now, aren't you?
I am. Potatoes
Curiosity.
1873. I mean, I'm sure Laura's right.
I'm certain. Oh, 1973. 1973.
1970. Okay. Okay. That's probably a little bit more realistic. And that's probably pretty sad. And let's face it, let's look at corn and milk and all those other prices that really do not rise with inflation. I mean, milk, what is it? What do you get? 17 and a half per hundredweight nowadays? Man, if that was 20, the farmers would be super happy. That's going to take a little bit of research, Laura. I definitely believe you.
We got a comment here. It says, hard for single income households, even those who, with the head of the household, makes good money. I'm a single mom and there's a great paying job. Yeah, you're right. So our government has inflated our dollar by 96%. So your dollar's not worth $1. It's worth 4 cents in purchasing power and continuing to shrink. This is why we got to get the gold standard back. That is absolutely terrible. On top of that, you are being robbed of 40% of your income. So when you take into account the whole impact that the government has on your income, your state tax, your local tax, your sales tax, your licensing, your fees, all of that stuff, embargoes, everything. The total impact that the government has on your income is a little bit over 40%. That's why we can no longer make it as a single income home. You used to have a single income, you could have 2 cars and still pay for your health insurance and put your kids through college. Now, that's almost impossible. Did we lose you, Jess? That's all right. I'll keep going. I see another comment in here. It's about operation costs kill small farms. You're preaching to the choir, bud. Okay? I am a small town farmer here, and I can tell you with the cost of propane this year, it is absolutely ridiculous. The cost of seed has gone up. The cost of seed starter has gone up. The cost of the propane has gone up. Almost to the point that I started this farm 5 years ago, and we're just finally getting up and rolling, and the inflation is about ready to crush us to the point that we may not be able to stay in operation. It is, trust me, I'm doing everything I can to fix it. And yes, the state and local tax, get rid of the salt tax, and you'll see the markets quickly shift. Yep, I would agree with that, absolutely.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah,
no, I just tried to make you mainstream while I was. I'm still researching potatoes. The trick is when you
fries, waffle fries, vodka.
Well, there was vodka in there too. A potato. The trick to researching potatoes is to spell it potato, not potato. That helped me out a lot, and I was actually able to get some information. Actually, and Laura looked correct too, by the way. I was trying to find a good graph to show, but it doesn't look like I can find one at this point. But we've got one more breaking news, buddy. That's it.
Hit me
I want you to. I know. You got to say goodbye to Jen Psaki, who has been. I know. Her last day is May 13th. Karine Jean-Pierre is a new replacement. Of course, she's been part of the organization for many years. But Jen Psaki, I will say that Jen Psaki has done an amazing, amazing job. The crap that she deal with, my goodness.
God.
Talking about jobs you would never want.
Absolutely impressed. Talk about the policies set aside, anything. She deserves a gold star. Absolutely amazing job trying to fix the blunder that we have in the White House. She did an amazing job.
I feel sorry for her. I think she's going to MSNBC now. So she's going to go from one sinking ship to another sinking ship. Oh, bless her heart. But you got, I mean, she did an amazing job. What she had to do with it.
I think that second sinking ship pays a little bit better than the first one.
Government jobs don't really pay that much unless there's insider trading.
Yeah, most of the smart people stayed on the civilian side and the private side and made money and used that money to buy the politicians to help keep and make more money.
I really want to do a show one time on follow the money, because what I have learned, go over to unusualwhales.com and opensecrets.org. Those two organizations, Unusual Whales more than the other one, but they track the stock trading from our representatives. And the stocks that they traded last year was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. They had one of them, they're supposed to report their stocks within 45 days under the Stock Act. Stop trading on congressional knowledge. That's what it stands for. 45 days. There's a gentleman out of Louisiana, Tommy Tuberville, who has like 30 some things that he has not reported as stocks from last year. He gets a $300 fine per each one, but this guy has made millions of dollars on trading while he's representing. It's disgusting. I want to do a whole show on that.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do a whole show on just donations.
Right. Oh, jump over to opensecrets.org. No, unusualwhales.com. There's the one report. It'll take you 15, 20 minutes to read about the trading that's going on in Congress and who Republicans or Democrats, who's doing better. And they're about the same. Don't think that one's better than the other one.
They're all helping each other. They're all in cahoots. That's why libertarians call them Republicrats, because they're all on the same. They're on the same team.
Yeah. Oh, the Peter Ducey. Yeah, that was awesome. Hey, I
just being fired from trading stocks and doing lobbying for years after leaving. How about that? Let's stop using the word lobbying and use the word bribing, because that's what it really is.
True story. I do want to say thank you to everybody for the comments. This is always a lot of fun. It's amazing to see the comments, put them up there and go off it. And thank you so much for watching and listen. This is a fun time.
This was a fun time, and we're going to continue to grow and expand this. And next week, I believe we are coming on when?
Oh, we're going to do Wednesdays. We're going to try Wednesdays.
Wednesday at 6 p.m., I believe, right? Wednesday at 6 or at 7?
Can we do 7?
We could do 7. We could.
That would be good. That would be good. But if you want to do
Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
If your wife and my wife tell us to do 6, we're going to do 6. Don't get us wrong. But right now, we're going to say 7. Yeah, there you go. So thank you everybody to watching. Fun. If you have something you want to put up there, tell me. I'll do the research. I'll dig into it. You're damn right.
How about this?
Because
topics for next week. What do you guys want to know about?
Oh man.
I know it could be loaded.
And remember, the platform's changing, because I'm going to do the governor for stuff that Laura, I'm really, 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 truly sorry, but I'm not going to be on the ballot. I'm very sorry. I didn't want to go and get signatures. What I saw was a nasty, messed up situation with Republicans and Democrats. I had tried to get onto the ballot. I tried to get onto the polls. Wasn't able to do that, so I contacted the polls. I contacted Marquette University. I said, hey, what are the odds of getting an independent on here? None. 0. They don't do independents. I said, okay. So I said, what about TV shows? I see Channel 27, Channel 3, everybody's doing that other stuff. Wouldn't do an independent. I said, okay. Started reaching out to radio stations. Will not touch independents. WPR. I emailed 3-4 times, called them, could not get on there. It's okay. It's okay. I learned the system. I take this as an amazing learning experience. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to start pointing some of this shit out because I'm tired of it. All I wanted was a chance. Get me up on the debate stage. If I screw it up, you betcha I'll screw it up. But I needed that chance. I needed to be able to show that, hey, an engineer and an Air Force veteran could kick ass. But I couldn't do that. So that's what I was upset about. So that's why I never continue on. So it wasn't that people were crappy. I love the people out there. The conversations. Jake, you have those conversations, right?
I tell you, this congressional run has been the time of my life. Win or lose,
Huge.
I'm having the time of my life going out and talking to people about liberty and how liberty and people, when they are left unabated and left free, will make good decisions and our country will grow and will be prosperous. And it is catching on. It will grow. It will take on. We will win seats. We will get into office one step at a time, one day at a time.
Don't give up. Don't give up. We'll make it.
We're going to run hard. Next thing we need is signatures. So, as we're signing off here, if you're interested in helping and get me signatures and you live in the 8th Congressional District, or if you are willing to help any of our Libertarian Party candidates, our statewide candidates especially, get signatures. We've got Mr. Neil Long, who is with us here tonight, Mr. Neil Harmon, who's running for Secretary of State for our ballot access here in 2024 and to kick some ass. Please help us get signatures. We are a small organization and we need all the help that we can get. 2,000 signatures need to get on the ballot for each of those candidates. We also have 2 congressional candidates, the 8th congressional candidate, myself, and the 3rd congressional candidate down in the southwestern part of the state. So any help, please reach out, www.jakeliberty2022.com. We'll be able to hook you up with the nomination papers. Thank you. Thank you for your help and in advance. It has definitely been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you all next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
7 p.m. until our wives tell us different. Hey, really quick, Neil Long, I need to know what area you're in so people know that if they're in that same area, so please post that. Jake, you're in District 8, so people that are in District 8.
Yep.
Okay, so
Neil Long is actually running for United States Senate, so he's a statewide candidate who lives in Superior.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then, of course, Chris. Who else was the other one? You had Neil.
We've got Neil. We had 2 Neils running. We got Neil Long and we got Neil Harmon. Yeah, 2 Neils.
And they're both statewide.
Correct.
Okay, so anybody can go out and get signatures. So really, really quick, I'm so sorry for taking anybody else's time. To get signatures, it is really easy. You print this out, right? And it's double-sided. So on one side, you got signatures. You can fit up 10 signatures on one side. You say, hey, my name is Jess Heisel. I'm collecting signatures for Chris Harmon or Neil Long or whatever. And you say, would you like to sign this to help them to petition to get onto the ballot? They don't even have to vote for them. They just need to petition to sign it to be able to help their names get onto a ballot. That's all you need to do. And then you move on. You move on to the next rummage sale. That's all you do. I say that because when I went up to Green Bay, Libertarian Party, there was a yard sale area. So I went over to the yard sale and I got Jake some signatures. And I bought my mother a sewing machine in the process. And she loved it, by the way. It was an old antique.
That's a win-win.
It was amazing. Mother's Day shopping and Jake's signatures, 2 for 1.
So what you're saying is collecting signatures for me, you're going to get great gifts.
Right. Cheap great gifts. Right.
Thank you all for joining us here tonight. It has been wonderful, and look forward to some more great conversations between Looking Forward with Jess Heisel and Chasing Liberty with Jake. So we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Thank you. And yes, keep us posted if you want any topics. Thanks for listening.